Let me tell you what we're going to talk about this time. Ethereum is being talked about. In this talk, we'll talk about the second free pass they got when the case was settled. I promise I'll let you know. James, who is in charge of wallets for Ripple's central bank digital currencies, will talk about what I think, how I see things, and why I'm suing. It's no surprise that Ripple works with states and central banks all over the world. I'm interested in why, and just watched a movie to find out. We just found out. Brad Glinghouse, how did he let us know? We have a lot of non-disclosure agreements, NDAs. Central banks are working with Ripple, and more progress is being made all the time. So let's jump right in. It's 8:05. People, I'll be 2 hours late. Schedule, my dog and I were up all night. You already know that I slept in the bedroom. It's been 2 weeks, and I've been sleeping on my couch for the last 2 weeks. He thought we were moving him from the couch to the bed after ACL surgery, so he carried him up and down. He was out of breath up there, pushing the water to flow easily. In the past 24 hours, Ethereum has gone up by 3.82%, while Bitcoin is down 8% at 1.65, $00. Why does the dollar cost $3,542? I'm interested. It will cost $99 for the USDC package. I believe that the person who had the USDC has now turned it into XRP at $0.49. If you're not feeling hopeful, this means that the total value of all cryptocurrency on the market has dropped by 67% to $389 billion. Given how much things cost now on these markets, could we please see one more breakdown? I don't know when you'll start to be optimistic. Yes, we couldn't make any big moves, no more than 10 to 15%, but if you can't handle a 10 to 15% drop, you don't deserve the thousands of percent moves we're about to experience going up. Now is a great time to make a little DCA. As I already said, it's almost impossible to time the bottom. If we're within 10 to 15%, though, we like to get so close to the bot that we actually go that much lower. At that point, we pretty much hit the mark, hit the mark, hit the mark. We did a great job putting this at the bottom of the market, as you can see. We're just waiting for our goal to come in, and I think it will come in the next 2 weeks, so I'm putting it out there. I'll tell you what the goal is. The $779 billion market is where I want to go, and then I'll use Bitcoin. Bernstein says that big banks will soon be able to accept Bitcoin exchange-traded funds ETFs. Are you all set? We've talked about the first group of big investors who put money into these ETFs. The waves 2, 3, and 4 that follow will come very quickly and bring a lot of money. You might be thinking how Bitcoin will get to 1,006 or even 60 in the end. It seems like even institutional money worth $250,000 looks like regular money. As a group, we can only put so much money into the retail market over a long period of time. There is only so much money in the world, but big money has a lot of it and hasn't touched cryptocurrency yet. Brad, there's a reason. GH told you that my goals, which add up to 5 trillion, are between 7 and 10 trillion by the end of this year for a specific reason. Besides Bitcoin, there will be other ETFs, and Ethereum will start trading in July. Since Ethereum just got its second free pass metal rule, we can assume that it is in a stable state right now. The SEC's lawyers were able to convince the judge at the Coinbase case that digital assets are not securities. In addition, the environment is the same as securities. Now, though, they'll admit that Ethereum is a digital object. Ecosystem and the ecosystem are not stocks. Going forward, what does this mean? Don't worry, I'm not serious. Let's move on. This is weird. It's really ashamed of you. The SEC is speaking out against a move they don't know about. They're not punishing Ethereum. It is their claim that all digital assets and the surroundings they have made are completely safe. But after looking at Ethereum, they say that this can't be thought of as safe because it's a digital asset with a big community made up of, third-party developers. After that, this happens, and I let go of it. I already told you yesterday that I was 100% in Twitter jail and hitting new heights. Write that down now. Right now, we will see a small amount of pumping. We'll be keeping an eye on what it means when the ETF gets approved. The money that comes from banks goes into Ethereum. Putting more money into something only makes it worth more. We think it will go up to $8,000 to $10,000, and there is a chance it could reach $20,000. You're still outside. Everything will depend on how many institutions join and how much money they put in. It's now here. This information was given out by the SEC. The news started going around on Twitter, but we chose not to go with it. These facts come from the United States Senate Commission. This was written by them, not us. That's why I think the Commission should take legal action against your customer. Software for Consensus people who started an ICO called Consensus told others to hide their identities so that no one would be able to find them. And raised money to help the network grow is the one who is in charge of the Ethereum agreement. This person is a silver butter for Joe Lubin. This person represents the idea of safety. The second time, though, they got away with it. This is the tweet I sent, and it fully explains what took place. I wish that Ripple's case against the SEC had gone as quickly and cheaply as this one. They didn't really pay anything, so that I could give the right answer. So what's going on? Maybe we should take a moment to retweet and show some love, because it is so hot the SEC is the only reason for their wells. Everyone agreed to hide what they did. There was so much pressure on the SEC from many places and groups that they had to send out a wells notice. In a loose quote, they say that you can't see them looking into why they did what they did and what the agreement was. It's a simple look at what took place. That was taken care of, and they can now say that they did what they needed to do. No matter what evidence we give or what the results are, Ethereum looked into the past actions of Consensus in great detail and found no wrongdoing. They are done with the case and have no plans to restart it or look into it again. They did this to protect the reputations of people who used to work for their firm and to show that they could be trusted as agents. To put it simply, Bill Mann and Clayman did their research. Because of this, they made it look like they were working on it by briefly leaving the keys open before locking it. In fact, I can promise you that every XRP in my purse that the SEC took was the key that was stored at the back of the paper. Please put this document on their calendar and tell them to look it over within the next 4 weeks. Also, they should put out a letter saying that they have done everything that was asked of them and have found nothing wrong with Ethereum. I can promise you that they had already written the letter you were looking at before they announced the probe and dropped the well notice on top of the Consensus. When the next meeting was marked on the calendar, it was already written out and ready to go. I asked them to tell them to say that you looked into Ethereum and Consensus and found no wrongdoing. Ripple planned the whole thing 2 years after putting $100 billion into fighting Consensus. They've only spent maybe $100, never been to court, and never given out any real information. On the other hand, the SEC says they did a very quick review and found no wrongdoing. But this case was surprisingly easy. Once all the facts were posted on Twitter, it was just an alley-oop, a score, and a fast break for them. This shows how rotten this agency really is and makes it even more important to fire Gensler and completely change the way the SEC works.